You still go through your routines. You still answer people. You still continue your life the way you always have. But emotionally, it feels like you never fully arrive inside your own experiences anymore. Moments pass through you faster. Conversations feel flatter. Even emotions themselves seem quieter than they used to. And what makes this difficult to notice is that emotional unavailability rarely feels dramatic. Most of the time, it simply feels like living emotionally halfway present, as if part of you continues moving through life normally, while another part quietly stopped fully participating in it. You still care about people. You still understand when something matters. You still want connection. But emotionally, something no longer responds with the same depth it once did. Your reactions feel delayed, muted, more distant internally. And over time, this creates a strange experience. You continue living through moments that should feel emotionally meaningful without fully feeling emotionally inside them. Not because you became cold, not because you stopped caring, but because part of your emotional world quietly stopped engaging the same way. And maybe this is the important distinction. You did not stop feeling. You slowly stopped emotionally entering what you feel. At first, the change feels subtle. You react less intensely to things that once affected you deeply. You stop emotionally entering conversations the same way. You become more observant than emotionally immersed. Life starts feeling emotionally flatter, not empty, not hopeless, just quieter emotionally. And slowly, you begin noticing that experiences no longer leave the same emotional impact they once did. Good moments fade faster. Even meaningful experiences can feel strangely muted while they are happening. You notice yourself moving through situations that should feel emotionally alive, while internally remaining strangely neutral. And this neutrality can feel confusing, because externally, nothing necessarily looks wrong. But emotionally, your inner world stops reacting with the same depth and presence it once had. And eventually, reduced emotional engagement starts becoming your normal emotional state. What makes this experience so confusing is that emotional unavailability does not always come from rejection. Sometimes it comes from prolonged emotional overload. The emotional system can only absorb so much stimulation before it begins reducing emotional intensity automatically, especially after long periods of emotional stress, mental exhaustion, overstimulation, constant adaptation, emotional pressure without recovery. Eventually, the mind starts conserving emotional energy, not because emotions disappear, but because remaining emotionally open all the time becomes exhausting to sustain. And over time, emotional self-protection can become so automatic that you stop noticing how emotionally guarded your inner world has become. And once emotional openness starts feeling exhausting, the mind slowly stops entering experiences completely. You become emotionally careful, internally restrained, partially detached. You still participate externally, still continue conversations, still move through life normally, but emotionally, part of you remains outside the experience itself. And over time, this creates a strange feeling. You are physically present, but emotionally absent from parts of your own life. Sometimes it can feel like experiences are happening too far away from you emotionally. as if you are observing parts of your life instead of fully living inside them. Days continue passing. Conversations continue happening. Life continues moving around you. But internally, it can begin feeling like your emotional world is no longer fully responding to what life is giving you. Moments happen without fully landing emotionally. Experiences pass without leaving the same emotional weight behind. You begin remembering life more intellectually than emotionally, as if your mind recorded the experience, but part of you was never fully inside it while it happened. And eventually, emotional autopilot begins forming quietly. You continue living your life without fully feeling emotionally connected to it. Even calm moments can begin feeling emotionally distant. And slowly, life itself can begin feeling less emotionally vivid overall. Not because life lost meaning, but because emotional immersion became weaker. This is why emotional unavailability often feels difficult to explain, because there is no dramatic shutdown, no obvious emotional collapse, only a gradual reduction in emotional presence repeated over time. You stop reacting as deeply, stop emotionally entering moments as naturally, stop feeling fully immersed in conversations, experiences, and even your own emotions. And eventually, something strange starts happening. Even when life becomes calmer, you still feel emotionally disconnected from it. Because the distance no longer depends on circumstances, it slowly became part of the way your inner world learned to function. And after enough repetition, emotional detachment can start feeling emotionally safer than emotional openness itself. And maybe this is the part most people misunderstand. Emotional unavailability does not always mean you lost the ability to feel. Sometimes it simply means your emotional system adapted to existing in a partially guarded state for too long. So instead of fully participating emotionally, it learned how to remain half present. Not because you stopped caring about life, but because somewhere along the way, fully feeling everything became emotionally difficult to sustain. And after enough time, emotional distance stops feeling temporary. It starts feeling normal. The emotional absence starts feeling familiar. And eventually, emotional disconnection no longer feels like a phase. It starts feeling like your natural emotional rhythm. You do not suddenly become emotionally unavailable. You slowly become less emotionally present inside your own life, little by little, moment by moment, experience by experience, until eventually emotional detachment starts feeling more natural than emotional openness. And maybe the problem is not that you stopped feeling. Maybe you have simply spent too long emotionally surviving instead of emotionally participating. If this video felt familiar, maybe your emotional world has been protecting itself more quietly than you realized. Subscribe to Quiet Clarity for more psychological reflections on the hidden emotional patterns shaping modern life.